This is the Leadway Wealth Builders Podcast, episode 174, where today I'm going to be talking about creating your vivid vision through ChatGPT. I just did this weekend, and I think this is something that everybody can be doing. So if you haven't listened to this podcast before, this is the Leadway Wealth Builders Podcast with me, Chris Rickenbaugh, and I'm documenting my journey in real estate and business while also bringing on high-level investors to share their stories and how they built their businesses. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at chris.rickenbaugh. That's chris.reichen.bach. And if you're listening to this podcast, leave us a rating and review because that's the only way this podcast can grow. So we really appreciate it if you do that. And we're available on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Podbean, and Amazon. So let's hop into today's topic. So if you haven't read Cameron Herold's Vivid Vision, I highly recommend it because if you're struggling to figuring out what you're doing, where you're going, this book is going to be able to help you do that. And I didn't do it the first time I read it, but as I've grown and I'm writing out these goals for what I have, my mind is really directed towards these goals. And I kept hearing about the vivid vision, how other people are doing it. And I said, I should probably do it. But sitting down to really take the time and write it all out, that's probably what was stopping me. So I went on ChatGPT and then we started the prompt. And I think anybody could do this because I write down my goals every day. I have my affirmations that I'm writing down through the Savers, and that's another book through Miracle Morning where if you do the Savers, you're writing down your affirmations, and then I write down my goals at the end of the day. The point is, through that, you're going to be able to look for those opportunities because you're writing down your goals. You're going to be able to see, what's coming up. What are those opportunities to be able to go achieve them? And your mind is always directed towards that goal. So through the vivid vision, you're able to really break down what your life is going to look like in 3 years. He said, don't do it for 1, don't do it for 2, don't do it for 5. 3 years is the sweet spot because you have time to be able to develop those ideas and really work on them. So that's exactly what we did. So being able to do it through ChatGPT, if you're sitting at a computer, you could easily do this too. And I'm going to pull up my ChatGPT just to show you exactly what I did. So the first prompt that you want to be able to do is start out with, are you able to build a vivid vision for me based off the Cameron Herold book? It says, absolutely, I can help build you that vivid vision model exactly after the framework. But before I start writing, this is where it's going to ask you a couple different things to be able to figure out your business and your goals. So if you're writing down your business, if you're using it for your personal life, ChatGPT is going to be able to pull all of that together. So it's going to be a couple quick answers. It's going to be company name, time frame, business overview, team and culture, customer experience, brand and marketing, ops and systems, financial goals, and personal vision as well. So it's going to be able to write you a 2 to 3 page narrative, and then it's going to be written in the present tense. So we said it's going to be starting in 2026 and ending at the end of 2028 as a 3-year vision. And then it asked me right at the bottom, because I'm using this for business, if I would like to tailor it to the Leadway real estate brand or a different business. So what I said back was, I said it'll be a personal vivid vision for me and my wife. And we wrote down all of our goals that were, looking to do here in the next 2 to 3 years. So paying off credit cards, getting a new car for my wife, having a $20 million net worth through real estate and business, having a $100,000 income by the time I turn 27, so in 1 year, living in Hawaii by 30, and then working less than 4 hours a day with no weekends. And then I also included what I write down every morning, which is the affirmations. It's, I commit to living in Hawaii by 30 with my wife, Isabella, and 2 kids, being present, being wealthy in all areas of my life, family, faith, finances, and fun, and keeping a positive attitude. So after I read that back, then it's able to build a strong, personal, vivid vision. And then it just asks a couple more questions. Does it want the time horizon to be 3 years out? First person or third person, as in Chris lives or I am living, and then it's able to write down that. And then it just keeps giving you more prompts. So asking for more information to be a little bit more direct on exactly what you want. So it was really cool kind of writing it out. It takes 5 minutes, and then it gives you a couple different versions, more inspirational, emotional, and then another version of structure and goal focus. So after I said, I want both of them. So after that, it wrote down, just a couple more questions. So 2 different versions. Is there any specific business focus areas like real estate investing? So basically, it's just giving you more prompts, more dialed into exactly what you want to do. So be as specific as possible. And then, so I said, fix and flips, boutique hotels, mobile home parks, a successful podcast with 1 million downloads. And then it had everything it needed. So it broke down 2 vivid visions based on the personal and emotional, and then a little bit more business structured. And then you're able to download those into the PDFs. And then I said, can you build a roadmap to accomplish this from our starting position? And I labeled exactly where we're at, and it was able to give us a roadmap to exactly that point through those assets that I mentioned, through the business podcast. So it gave us our starting point today, start at the beginning of 2026 and end in 2028. And it gave us year 1 by quarters. It was able to really break it down to where we had the beginning starting point, which is we have 1 Airbnb, we have a couple fix and flip projects that we're trying to finish up, or we're going to finish up here by the end of the year. And then, so that's our starting point. And then we said, all right, in 3 years, we want to be at the $20 million net worth, and we want to have $100,000 a month coming in by the end of 2027, or when I turn 27. And it was able to give us a roadmap based off of that. So really cool. I'm not going to go into the specific roadmap, but, quarter 1, it starts off, pretty smooth, like completing 2 flips, recording and publishing 12 podcasts, and then reviewing in a financial tracking system. So the financial tracking system, that's already implemented. We've already done the podcast episodes. So what I can do with that is be a little bit more organized. I can be interviewing higher level investors, and then doing 2 flips. So making sure that we're making progress. We don't need to do anything super massive. We just need to have deals coming in the door to be able to start working on that positive income. And good news is we have almost 3 months to be able to get started on this. So it's just a really cool roadmap to where we can even go in and edit this as we're, finishing up the year, but just to be able to give us a head start and figure out where exactly we're going. So that was really cool. And what you can do with this, since it's broken down in quarters, you can get the 12-week year, finish that book, and then you're able to break that down into attainable goals every single week for those 12 weeks. And that is easily able to break it up into the quarters, and make sure you follow the 12-week year. I really like doing that, and I'm going to be able to put that together to be able to start the next year. I got away from it probably halfway through the year after I finished my second or third, and I kind of just wanted to see how I felt. And I felt a lot less directed when everything started kind of hitting the fan with real estate and my business, to where I need to get back into that now that we know we have a little bit of a base. So that is how you can create your vivid vision through ChatGPT. Highly recommend it. It's super easy. It takes 5 to 10 minutes and no time at all. So if you've read that book and you've just struggled with sitting down and doing it, it doesn't take an all day or all weekend or all week type of thing. It can take you 5 to 10 minutes. So make sure you get on there, use ChatGPT, ask it a bunch of questions, and figure out really where you want to go in life, because that's going to be able to guide you so much better than, just joining a mastermind and doing what everybody else is doing. Because at the end of the day, you're doing this for you. You're figuring out where you want to go, what a perfect day looks like for you. And then you're able to craft that vision, set goals, and you're able to go and accomplish that. And doing it through a vivid vision just brings it to life. So I highly recommend everybody doing this. I think it's going to be really, really fun to see how this plays out here in the next couple of years. And then, it doesn't work if you do. So that's why you implement the 12-week year, to see if you're actually attaining your goals and going out and doing the things. So this has been episode 174 of the Leeway Wealth Builders podcast. Go give me a follow on social media. Keep listening to the podcast. Refer to your friends. We are trying to grow the show here. So thank you so much for tuning in. This is Chris Rickenboss signing off for episode 174.